Telekinesis is defined as a psychic ability that allows someone to influence a physical system without physical interaction. The word comes from the ancient Greek words tele, meaning far off or at a distance, and kinesis, meaning motion. Experiments to prove the existence of this and other psychic phenomena have been suppressed in the West, especially after World War II. But declassified documents reveal that research conducted by German, Russian, and other European organizations have been known to the CIA for many decades and covertly expanded on. In Russia, a belief in psychic healing is deeply rooted. The healer is believed to be capable of transferring chi or vril energy into the body of a sick person. Alexei Krivolovtov has long been revered as one of Russia's most powerful energetic healers in modern Russian history. He was convinced that the powers of faith and mind were limitless, and that his ritual laying on of hands, similar to Reiki, imbued his patients with a curative psychic force. His powers to heal were repeatedly tested and accepted by Soviet scientists. The transfer of psychic energy has always been of consuming interest to Russian parapsychologists. In this controlled experiment at the University of Leningrad, a psychic apparently lights a lamp by directing his power towards a device which registers bioelectromagnetic energy. For the Russian neurophysiologist that developed the experiment, the applied use of psychic energy is a plain and proven fact. Many Russian scientists agree, and in the early 1970s began creating devices to harness psychic power. They are known as psychotronic generators, instruments designed to capture and accumulate psychic energy and then release it on command. It's believed that psychotronic generators form a union between mind and matter, transforming human psychic power into a practical and controllable resource. In theory, the power originates from somewhere inside the brain and is transmitted most effectively directly through the eyes. Once accumulated and concentrated through a psychic generator, the power can be released and used for a multitude of purposes. The field of psychotronics remains vital until this day. Russian parapsychologists have developed more advanced and sophisticated devices, psychotronic generators which, in theory at least, have the power to heal or harm.
A
psychotronic generator can influence a whole crowd of people. It can affect a person's psyche, memory, or attention span. A psychotronic device can cause physical fatigue, disorientation, and even alter a person's behavior.
Many Soviet defectors have claimed that the KGB and military conducted intensive, secret research to harness psychotronic power as a weapon of massed mind control and psychic warfare. In the Cold War competition to tip the balance of power, elements in the Soviet defense establishment looked to parapsychology as a source of exotic weapons for which Western powers were unprepared. A classified U.S. intelligence report stated, "Many scientists, U.S. and Soviet, feel that parapsychology can be harnessed to create conditions where one can alter or manipulate the minds of others." Dr. Nikolai Krokov, a former KGB agent who defected to the West, was hired by the CIA in 1976 to investigate and report on secret parapsychological research in the Soviet Union. He uncovered more than 20 secret laboratories staffed by hundreds of top scientists and technicians. Research included well-funded experiments in negative telepathy and mind control, as well as investigation into the biophysics of mind-to-mind communication. Psychotronic generators were developed and tested, the hearts of lab animals were stopped telepathically, and prison inmates were used in attempts to paralyze sections of their spinal cords through concentrated psychic power. The sinister sector of psychic power as a destructive and harmful weapon is still present in Russia today. This government laboratory in Moscow manufactures psychotronic generators, the type of equipment many believe have already been covertly employed by military intelligence.
Министерство обороны СССР, КГБ,
The Ministry of Defense, the KGB, and other organizations did build psychotronic generators. I know that over 500 million rubles were spent on developing psychotronic equipment. Which brings up the question, where are all these devices? During the attempted coup of 1991, these psychotronic generators may well have been used by the military.
Russia's president, Boris Yeltsin, was reportedly the target of psychotronic attack.
I had a very funny request from a guy who is in charge of a military lab in the Ukraine, and he told me, this guy, that there would be an attempt on Yeltsin's life using a special generator which could damage Mr. Yeltsin's health and probably kill him. And he said, we developed some kind of equipment which can hold someone's heart at a distance by command. For the first time in my life, I took it seriously.
President Yeltsin did indeed suffer a heart attack shortly after the coup. Could it have been caused by a psychotronic generator? A weapon for which his fragile government had no defense. A weapon which parapsychologists believe can be used to affect an entire population. There are those who now perceive a grave and terrible threat from psychic warfare. The notion may stretch the imagination, but US intelligence has estimated that the Kremlin spent $30 million a year on psychic warfare research.
While there is still some skepticism that the KGB or other governments have successfully weaponized psychic powers, the evidence that such occult phenomena exists is harder to refute. One example is Olivina Gradova, a psychic renowned for her paranormal ability. In Russia, such people are known as extrasensors, and she discovered her extrasensory powers more than 25 years before this was filmed, when she learned that she could control the movements of a metal tube without touching it. Her ability is called telekinesis, and her demonstrations were witnessed and documented by numerous Russian scientists and psychic researchers. While many regard her powers as astounding and unique, skeptics suggest that her talents may simply be due to the effects of static electricity. That said, she believed that electrostatic forces merely augment her psychic powers.
The lightest object that I could move was an aluminum cigar tube that weighed 7 grams. As I developed my ability, I could move objects up to 200 grams. Physicists and other specialists said that it will be impossible to move an object this heavy with just pure electrostatic energy.
She was given an ordinary cigarette to demonstrate her power. In trying to understand the nature of her ability, researchers applied a Russian invention believed to record human auras, a technique called Kirlian photography.
They were interesting experiments made by physicists using Kirlian photography. And they took pictures of my fingers before I began to work, and then again after I finished, and the photographs of the fingers were absolutely different.
Exactly what accounts for the difference she does not know, but she says to perform telekinesis, she must gather and concentrate what feels like a pulsating bioenergy in her body. While directing that energy onto an object, she senses physical changes.
When I am doing this, I feel my fingers are getting thicker and heavier, and then I am able to move objects.
She believes her power is derived from a focused psychic energy, a power that she has always accepted as a natural, energetic endowment.
I believe some people are simply born with more psychic energy. Above all, I think most of the people who have these special kinds of energies are in Russia.
This is Russia's most famous psychic, a housewife and mother of 3 named Nina Kolodina. Her telekinetic powers seemed awesome and astounded all who saw them. Though only a few rare film clips still survive, Kolodina was by far the most studied and documented psychic subject in Russian history. She was seen by many as living proof that psychic powers were unquestionably real. She discovered her powers at the age of 33. Home movies made by her husband at their home documented Kolodina's earliest efforts at telekinetic movement. In this makeshift experiment, a glass tube covered by a flower vase was the focus of her powers. With a sudden, intensified effort, it moved. Later demonstrations included several objects at once. Her uncommon abilities quickly drew the attention of Soviet researchers. Over 40 top scientists, including 2 Nobel laureates, studied Kolodina's, searching for an explanation of her seemingly supernatural powers. Time and time again, she submitted herself to grueling demonstrations of telekinesis. Here, after 2 hours of trying, she made a compass needle move. When she exerted even greater effort, the compass itself was affected. She reported that just before an object moved, she felt a sharp pain in her spine. Then her vision blurred, and she became dizzy. Medical tests showed that her blood pressure rose dangerously. Her heart reached up to 240 beats per minute. Every physical measure revealed a profound stress reaction.
I first met Kulagina in 1968. And after that, I observed her telekinesis thousands of times. Telekinesis was not her only gift. She had many psychic abilities.
Among Kulagina's other powers was a mysterious ability to radiate burning heat from her hands. Experiments confirmed what was called her biothermal effect, yet an explanation for these powers eluded the researchers. A visiting foreign reporter once tested Kulagina's burning powers firsthand. In this demonstration, broadcast over Soviet television, Kulagina generated heat so intense it produced a bright red burn mark on the correspondent's neck. Others would have similar experiences. Dr. Benson Herbert, the noted British parapsychologist, reported suffering an intolerable sensation of heat on his arm from the touch of Kulagina's hand. Clairvoyance, the ability to see objects or events beyond physical vision, was yet another psychic power Kulagina possessed. Of her many demonstrations, this is the only film record.
Star. The first one. No, what else? Okay, just a minute. Triangle and 2. 25 and 88. 8.
Ой, 52
No,
и
52 and 88.
69
69,
пусто
empty,
и 6.
and 6.
Kulagina exhibited such a broad range of extrasensory powers, including levitation, that she ultimately became the subject of controversy.
In the early 1960s, a new psychic phenomena sparked the interest of the Russian public and made headlines throughout the Soviet Union, which was hailed by many scientists as the discovery of a genuine sixth sense. A single woman's ability to see and read through her skin was the cause of this sudden excitement. Her name was Rosa Kuleshova, and she became a psychic sensation. Scientists described her apparent ability as a physiological mechanism in which the senses of touch and vision are fused. While blindfolded, Kuleshova could read and see colors and recognize photographs. Her incredible powers of skin sight extended even to her feet. Almost overnight, these paranormal abilities triggered a research effort of tremendous dimensions involving scientists and test subjects throughout Russia. At scientific institutes in at least 6 Russian cities, tests with thousands of volunteers revealed that there were many who could sense colors, words, or images directly through their skin.
In this experiment, the subject attempts to determine which of several metal envelopes contains the color red.
Начали.
Красный.
Проверим.
The word krasny means red, and the subject's response will prove to be correct. Yet, despite years of intensive study, the true nature of this remarkable phenomenon has remained a riddle of science.
At the University of Leningrad, Dr. Pavlova is searching for evidence of the physical and biological nature of telepathy.
We have demonstrated that telepathy exists, even though our subjects don't show it every time we test them. Most probably, every person is capable of telepathy, but nature is hiding it from us. So now the question becomes, how can we find what nature has hidden?
That's the early photic and magnetic stimulator that that MK Ultra was using, Puharish developed to put people in their states. Yeah, it's an American version of the Leda machine from Russia.
Lower your head a little bit. A little more. Now.
Sounds awful.
It does. Sounds diabolical.
I see it. Now I see it. I see so many things I can't tell you. Can't you slow it? Slow it? Now I see but I see so many colors that are. Go. Are they pretty? In geometric signs, that now there's like great things. They're magnificent, is what they are. They're magnificent. I have never been so aware of color.
What is this thing actually doing?
After this, he goes off and does psychic testing on him and finds that he became much more accurate choosing cards. So it's opening up psychic ability. That was the intent, at least. But it's putting him in a hypnotic state. And this is his testing. He's doing a dermo-optical vision, seeing through the fingers, which is, they actually studied this. It's in the congressional record.
Analytical psychologist Carl Jung used the term synchronicity to describe events that coincide in time and appear meaningfully related despite lacking a clear, discoverable causal connection. Jung held that this was a healthy function of the mind, or the collective unconscious, which correlated with the work of other researchers before him. Born in 1734, Dr. Franz Mesmer was a German physician that theorized the existence of a process of natural energy transference occurring between all life called animal magnetism, later referred to as mesmerism. I covered the work of Dr. Mesmer in a video, which I'll leave a link to in the description. Today, the word mesmerism generally functions as a synonym for hypnosis, but there are occult lines of research which, unlike modern hypnosis, focused on an invisible bioelectromagnetic energy that could be harnessed and used to influence people. In the East, this vital energy is known as chi, in India as prana, and in Germanic alchemical sects as vril. The CIA was also aware of the Soviet Union conducting research into psychic energy and methods of harnessing and extracting it for use in healing or possibly potentially weaponized. In this 1975 declassified document from the U.S. Department of Defense called Soviet and Czechoslovakian Parapsychology Research, it says, quote, psychotronic generators, also called Pavlita generators after the inventor, are small devices said to be capable of drawing biological energy from humans. The energy is accumulated and stored for future use. Once charged with human energy, the generators can do some of the things a psychic subject can do, but, according to the inventor, Robert Pavlita, can be charged by individuals possessing no psychic ability. The concept of a man as a source of unusual energy dates back at least as far as the ancient Chinese and Hindu teachings, in which it was called vital energy or prana. Between the 18th and 20th centuries, it was called various things: animal magnetism, odic force, motor force, N-rays, etheric force, etc., by rediscoverers of its existence. In contemporary Soviet and Czechoslovakian parapsychology, this energy is called bioplasmic or psychotronic energy. The Czechoslovakian rediscovery of biological energy is credited to Robert Pavlita, an inventor and businessman from Prague who began work on his devices over 30 years ago. Pavlita's generators can be charged by direct contact, for example, rubbing or touching to the temporal region of the head, or by visually directing mental concentration upon them from a distance. The nature of the energy stored is still not understood, but over the years, a number of observations about its effects have been reported. It can be reflected, refracted, polarized, and combined with other forms of energy. It creates effects similar to magnetism, heat, electricity, and luminous radiation, but is itself none of these.